Morning, everyone. I hope you all can hear me and see my screen. Great. All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Gaurav Chadha, and I'm based in Singapore. I think it's a once again it's a very proud feeling for me to be part of Photoworld Asia, and on behalf of HP and Picture Books. I welcome you all again. Time really has changed. I still remember my visit to Philippines and being part of the this wonderful event. And now, in few years' time, we're talking about this virtual event. Now, it's very interesting. We're talking about new trends, new mindset, and what a lot of us have been hearing about new normal. In next few minutes, about 30 minutes or so, I wanted to share a lot of interesting aspect about the wonderful job which a lot of you as aspiring photographers, as professional photographers are doing for this field, and yet at the same time, how is it that we can make it more worthwhile? Now, let me take to regarding this very interesting now this image which you see on your screen. Now, if you look at this as a picture of Pekin, now Pekin as the gorilla, a lowland gorilla, who's captured or sold for the Ape Action Africa team. Now, in this picture, this picture which was taken by Juan captures this beautiful little emotion being shared between the gorilla and his caretaker while he was being on sedative transferred from one location to another. One of the most amazing and was one of the People's Choice winner. Let me go back and make you see this beautiful picture. This was clicked by Deborah Garside in Canada. Now imagine the most challenging condition this photographer like you all faces today. Now there are different challenges here. While we were capturing this image, it was more of a physical challenge. You're talking about a temperature which is in minus 35 degree to minus 55 degree. You're almost talking about frostbite. And yet you're talking how this photographer, Deborah, she waited for 6 days outside this den of polar bear just to capture this beautiful image which you see on the screen. And then we're talking about this image which was captured by Cherry Alexander, who was this was beautifully captured of a blue iceberg when he was from a trip going towards Antarctica. Now, if you really look at these, some beautiful images which are being captured, beautiful moments, beautiful memories being made of, and we talk about this a few years down the line. With this, I want to bring you to this very interesting picture which you see. Now, this picture which you're seeing on the screen right now of the River Rhine was at that point in time one of the most expensive photographs ever sold for close to about $4.3 million. Now, where I'm coming from is now, before I get into these small little trends and we as photographers or people who are capturing these memories, how is it that we can look to broaden our horizon? During the course of these 3 days, I was looking at some eminent speakers who are going to be talking about travel photography, who are going to talk about still photography. They're going to talk about how to have the right lighting and capture. But a very, very important aspect is also, how do you really become a complete photographer? How is it that when you capture these beautiful images, when you ensure there is this perfect lighting, how do you get them to print? And that is what is going. That is what I'm going to talk to you about. How do we print them to picture? How do we bring these beautiful images which you capture, bring them to life by really printing them? Now it is no different to us. The world has changed, and from more being offline, meeting people in person, today everything has gone to virtual, online, and all this stuff. So has the photo market. The way we used to shoot pictures has dramatically changed. Now, if you look at, there used to be a dry plate camera. You're talking about the 1800s. Probably none of us were in. Hopefully, none of us are from that era, right? But we're talking about how it changed to reflex cameras today. A lot of that has been captured with digital cameras, smartphones, and even drones being used. And you would see how this has completely changed the way we are shooting pictures, capturing images, and just not that. It is also about how we store these photos. It has dramatically changed from lying just print of these pictures and lying in some of your shoe boxes in the 80s, 1980s, to floppy disk. A lot of you might remember floppy disk, and then we're talking about the flash drive or the USB, the disk on key, and a lot of them has gone on to mobile today. Most of us click our pictures, store it on mobile, or even on the iCloud servers. So practically, you see, if there is a paradigm shift which has happened in the photo industry as well. But what is important and what is good to know, that the photo market is still very large and is experiencing continued growth. Now, when you talk about photo industry, all of you are very interested to know, how is it that we could take a little bit of a pie of this huge photo market, which, in spite of these challenges which we have faced in last 1 year, we can utilize them in such a way that we are able to drive more products, get more money out of it. Now, if you were present on the join in early, you would have seen picture book sharing some beautiful photo books, coffee table books, and I'm going to talk to you a little about that. And what is also important to note is that these trends are going to fuel next few years of growth in the photo segment. Today, you see a lot of images being captured by mobile phone. You see a trend of image, yet at the same time, there is a continuous rise in the culture of personalized gifting. And then the most important is on the customized photo book creation. How is it that you really, you click those beautiful pictures, convert it into beautiful photo books, so you could sell them, you could gift them, and make it really last longer. It would be very interesting to know there are close to about 1.7 trillion photos which are taken every year now. This is and a lot of them has been fueled by smartphones. A lot of us today own smartphones, and we click a lot of these pictures. Now, what can you really do with these pictures? Now, if I go by some stats, what it does is that a lot of these images are being we all have become active on social sharing. You see, it says Facebook has about 2.4 billion users. WhatsApp is about 1.5 billion users, and Instagram is about 1 billion users. Now, there's a section which is still, we are talking about capturing those moments. Like, for example, I spoke about the photographer named Deborah, who waited for 6 days in inhuman condition to get that polar bear picture. The image being captured by Anne of that gorilla being transferred. It's amazing to see that there's a vast variety of photographers which exist today, willing to put in that kind of a hard work. Now, if you talk about social sharing, what you see is that today, in any of the above of these social media sites which we're talking, be it the Facebooks of the world, the WhatsApp, the Instagrams, or the Messenger, they reach out to close to 3.2 billion people. So imagine, on one aspect, we are talking professional, photographers spending a lot of days that one beautiful picture. And on other aspect, there is also a segment for you to consider where there is a lot of people sharing and clicking pictures and putting it up on website. What's an interesting statistics to know is where do where do people spend most time on social media now? While I was been thinking about how people are spending most time, it's comes as Philippines is the number one country in the world currently, which spends the maximum amount of time on social networks. So on an average, any Filipino is spending about 3 hours 50 minutes on on a social media network. Now, if that is true, how is it that you can really take it and see it as an opportunity and convert it into a business model for you is also something which we want to consider. Now, I've given you a perspective about how life has changes from where how we see the cameras being changed, how the pictures are being clicked, how these days and days to get this beautiful picture. And we have a lot of amateurs and at the same time some aspiring photographers trying to make this opportunity. But with me, I have picture books. I have Robbie from Philippines, who probably, will be able to bring all these products, all these memories, convert them into products for you and make it into some nice little applications. For example, what you see here is how you could convert all the images which you upload on social media. You can convert them into nice little photo books, which you see. You could also print something like calendars, which could be your yearly calendars, cards, canvas prints, or even social media photo books. What it does is it gives you an opportunity to interact with your own customers. It gives you an opportunity to be featured in a popular magazine, to being able to recognize yourself. And yet at the same time, you could make coffee table books which are being sold, yearbooks, it could be wedding books, it could be portraits. So there are a lot of opportunities to print and make them into beautiful photo products. And a little later in the call, you would be hearing from Robbie on how he can help you produce these products and show you some very interesting examples as well. Now, this is very interesting to note. I've been talking about while I was looking at the countries with the most beauty pageant crowns. Venezuela is one, but Philippines, surprising. I'm not sure how many of you would have thought. For me, it was really wonderful to see that Philippines stands at number 2 in terms of the amount of beauty queens which your country has produced. Now, if you look at what is this connection with the beauty queens with the photo industry, now what I'm trying to make a point is, how is it in this challenging time you identify on opportunities? This brings to you the fact that there could be an opportunity to do a lot of work in the fashion photography. Now, this requires an absolute high-end, images being captured, you being able to capture the right kind of persona, the right kind of beauty to portray it to the outside world. But is this enough? No. You need to ensure that when you are able to capture, you're also able to reprint it in a form that it gets highlighted. And this is where company like Picture Book in Philippines, they help you. While you have been able to capture this beautiful image, how does this image needs to get printed? What kind of media, what kind of a substrate, what kind of a paper needs to be used? How is it that you can beautify this image with the use of, special photo inks, with use of special inks with which, the picture books can produce, be it improving on the skin tones, be it ensuring that, there are no rosettes in the darker part of your images, or even bringing out the vibrancy. And and while I talk, it is important for you to ensure that all these beautiful images are given to a professional to reproduce to you in a form which can last longer. In this world which has become extremely competitive, it's not really it's not really you just cannot afford to be good enough. You have to stand out. There are estimated millions and millions of photographers today, especially with the cell phones which you see. Probably everybody around you is a photographer, right? How is it that you start differentiating yourselves now? What I'm talking to you here about is how these pictures which you click can be, you can have an outstanding permanence. Now, capturing an image when it requires so much of effort, why not when it gets produced, it has a permanence? We are talking about these images being printed and being able to last more than 200 years. Now, this is in terms of display permanence. We're talking about, how these prints meets the industry standards and also surpasses when you print them with HP, when you print them with picture books in Philippines, to be able to see it for yourself. And yet at the same time, we are being cautious of the environment. You could use this as an opportunity to be environment friendly by ensuring that the products which you are manufacturing, the products which you're offering to your customers are something which are in alignment or are green certified, in order to ensure that you are doing your bit for the environment. Now, I have a very interesting story to share in terms of how photographers like you make a huge and big impact. Now, this is an image which was taken in Africa. Ivory trade is big and huge in Africa, and there were very limited amount of elephants which survived. So in order to ensure how is it that we can save the life of these elephants and not be killed because of ivory, there's this organization in Africa which started that, why don't we start naming the animals? When you start giving a name to the animals, you start correlating to these animals, because now they are just not an elephant to you. Each and every single animal, in this case the elephant, 400 of them were given names, so that it become, they are treated as friends and they are not poached upon. Now, when these images, what was done was, if you look at this image, all these labels were printed and put up on these fine bottles to ensure each elephant, like you see on the left of your screen, Gabulani is one of the name of the elephant which was given, and similarly each one of them had a different name, so for you to understand. Now, how does a photographer play his part here? Now, as this wildlife photographer, and you would be hearing probably in the course of next 3 days from some of them, they ensured that in Africa, when they were able to capture those images and movements in form, how do they convert it in form of print and stories and link them to those movements? So what they did was, they clicked a lot of these images of these elephants using artificial intelligence. They kind of printed it into a coffee table book, and they started selling it in order for people to know about elephants who are with ivory, what a wildlife looks like in Africa, and how could they increase the awareness around the poaching of this element. So if you really look at, as a photographer, you are not only playing a part in trying to create memories, but you're also trying to create a part in able to educate the world by these beautiful images. If this was never clicked as a picture, and or rather if this was only clicked as images and stored in the in some of your iClouds or servers or in your phone or in your memory disk, and never printed out in a form of a book and shown to the world, probably these species, these elephants elephants in Africa would still have been endangered. So it is also, it's important that how we are playing our part. Now, the reason I came back with these stories is because if you really look at every single picture, they tells a story. Now, if you were to ask me what is it that is in for me, as a photographer, what is it in for me? How can I really optimize my opportunity to earn? There are plenty of opportunities. For example, traditionally, a photographer would look at clicking a picture, a beautiful image, and hope that he gets, his his rights of copyrights are sold, he gets earned from it, or he'll be able to produce it in the form of a book. But today, you can step out of your comfort zone. Today, you can talk, you can print, you would be able to print your own coffee table book to be able to sell it in the market. There is an opportunity to work in the fashion industry and print some fashion books. There is an opportunity to create social media photo books. There is an opportunity to create a lot of pictures, getting them printed into posters, or even creating a unique products. Like, for example, you could nicely create stickers which are created out of your collection of images to be able to offer it to your customers. Now, all these opportunities are somewhere linked to forming an end product, and this is where Robbie would come in and he would talk on behalf of Picture Books and share in how he could help you. Now, before really I end my part of the story, I really want to thank you on behalf of HP and Picture Book, to all the photographers who have been capturing these beautiful moments, and it's making the world a lot more a lot more connected, because eventually it's the images which you click which form part of your memories. And every picture today, no matter whether you've clicked it a moment ago or about 20 years ago, it has a story. It has a story to say. Now, with this, I would probably reach out to Robbie. Robbie, if you could hear me in Philippines. All right. So this is one of the challenges when you're trying, but for all of you who have taken out time and being present here right in early in the morning, I could tell you on the behalf of Picture Books, a consultant in terms of what is it that you could do with your beautiful captured images. How could you make it into an opportunity for you to grow your business by enabling print, by offering different products. And Picture Books, with their lot of interesting photo books to offer, with lot of photo prints, different kind of photo prints to offer. It could be something to do with calendars, something to do with frames, and they can help you be able, as photographer, to be able to sell more in terms of while you're able to print them. What is also interesting is today, a lot of you who would have logged in, and first 10 of you could reach out to them, get your photo books made. You could reach out to them on www.picturebooks.com.ph. At the same time, we all are working in the same industry. All of us are working towards growing these photo industry, be it you talk about travel photography, be it about lighting, be it about printing. How is it that we can continue making our world much better place to live in? How can we continue educating? How can we we can be responsible to environment? All these is part of these beautiful images which you guys capture. Imagine a world without pictures. Imagine if there was no image being captured, you would literally be talking to something which is as blank as anything. And this is where I really want to appreciate your effort and all that you as aspiring photographers, as professional photographers are doing. Well, with this, I thank you once again. And now I'll try one more time to reach out to Robbie. I'll stop sharing and see if Robbie can be reached out